All right. Well, we are back, and we're talking about the coach again, the next coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, which is a big deal. And a lot of our fans out there don't even remember the last time we had a coaching search like this. You know?
I also don't. I'm pretty young in
Yeah.
that department.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about that. You guys
Well, first
can
of
you hear
all,
me okay? Can everybody
congratulations
hear
on
me?
finally debuting your puppet, Hodgie. That's a big
Yeah,
deal.
yeah. Can you hear me right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hearing you has never been the issue.
Yeah,
Ever.
because I tend to be loud. And I'm going to be loud today because I have a lot to say. Okay? I have a lot to respond to about the complaining and the complaints that I've seen on Twitter and John, I'm going to exclude the present company being you from what I'm about to say, from what you call millennial Bengals fans who remember statistically that the Bengals have been up and down and know a lot about the Bengals, but weren't there in spirit. You know, they didn't really get the je ne sais quoi, if we may. And so the reason I say that is because, man, there is so much whining on Twitter. And it's a stereotypical trait of the younger generation that they complain a lot about inconveniences. And people are complaining up and down, left and right about the Bengals, losing hope. I mean, look, this is not the greatest NFL organization, but you know what? We're not that bad. And honestly, we've had great coaches. First of all, Sam White. People forget that.
That's true. Yeah, yeah.
Now, Mike Brown didn't hire Sam White. I know that. But someone did, and that someone was affiliated with the Bengals.
That makes us feel so much better because that someone is dead. But
he's dead, but his genetic inheritance.
No. Hold on. You make a good point there, Roji. What I really like about your point is that Sam Veitch was a brilliant offensive mind, innovative, forward-thinking guy at the time. And there are rumors that the Bengals are trying to go in that direction now. So while some people think, oh no,
he invented the no huddle for the younger generation
and the sugar offense, the sugar huddle,
sugar offense.
Right? You know, I just learned that Sam Weiss was 84 and 107 in his career, winning percentage of 440.
Well,
Exactly.
John. No, John. I mean, you forget. Basically, he had like. We had a lot of bad stuff happen to us after the Super Bowl, and it kind of fell apart. But he was finding. You remember back in the day, coaches and like rookie quarterbacks, things didn't happen as fast. So they took him a few years to really get going. A lot of times, it wasn't like now.
I think a classic Sam White moment that I remember is people were throwing a bunch of stuff on the field at Cincinnati, and he said, this isn't Cleveland. And honestly, I don't care what your record is. You say that, and that's enough for Hodgie. That was enough for me. I was happy. And the man made us feel like winners, He didn't just the Super Bowl. He made us feel like we were a real contending team.
Yeah. No, I know that moment was big for you because you were always, you didn't know, like, when we moved here, you weren't sure. You knew about the state of Ohio, but you didn't know what city we lived in.
No.
And so that clarified. Yeah.
People kept saying Newport, Covington.
Yeah.
Like, what are you guys talking about, man?
Yeah. But then you could eliminate Cleveland, so that was a big help.
Yeah, just America, right? But what are you saying? Newport, Cleveland. I'm like, what is this, man? All these words, Where we're from, there's Village Island. North Village Island, South Village Island.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Okay, look, John. So a lot of us are excited about some of these guys. The Zach Taylor guys, the Shane Waldron guys, Todd Monken, and of course Eric Bieniemy, one of our own guys. And at the same time, we see these betting odds. Have you seen these, John?
I have, yeah.
It's stupid. Why do people bet? Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just saying not promising for what people are saying.
But John, do these guys have some sort of info that we don't? Like, why are they so sure that at first it was Hugh Jackson and now it's Bill Lazor? Did you see the latest one?
Yeah, I think Lazor was second, but I don't even know if that was.
I think he was over Hugh Jackson last one.
Did he surpass Hugh? I thought.
Yeah, I think so. He thinks so. And which, by the way, I would be happy. I'd prefer Lazor over Hugh Vance or Darren Simmons.
Right.
Just,
I was
just because
that.
of.
I was going to say just that. I like Laser. I'm okay with Laser.
It's a pretty shiny turd right there. Yeah, for sure.
He's a shiny turd.
Shiny turd.
It's like a bat turd that's just been sitting on the ground for centuries, and it's like a relic right now, a fossil.
But even still, like I don't blame like what is it, Bovada or Betts DSI, whoever comes out with these numbers about predicting that the Bengals would go in-house because they are the guys that they interviewed first, and a lot of people criticize the Bengals for even giving Hugh Jackson an interview in the first place. But you know, the perception of the Bengals has drastically changed over the past 16 years with how they promote from within and how they kind of transition from off-season to off-season. So on the surface, it wouldn't seem like the Bengals would initially look to an out-of-house candidate to replace Marvin Lewis. They would just kind of do what they always do with coordinators and kind of go in-house, and they think that's going to happen this time. But as we've just already discussed, you know, not a lot of people remember that last head coaching search involved a lot of top candidates, including Tom Coughlin, and then going with Marvin Lewis, who at the time was a solid head coach up and coming, and that's taking us where we're going here. Yeah,
and a good pick. Let's get that out there for the millennial viewership. He was a good pick.
Yeah, he was a good pick that lasted too long in the current situation. There was a time, there were many times where they could have moved on from Marvin Lewis, but the legacy of the Marvin Lewis tenure was that he got us to a certain point that we could have eventually taken off and progressed even more. But I guess they just tried to make something work that just wasn't destined to happen under that guy. And now they're finally realizing that mistake. And I think they're going to, at least they're looking at the right names to kind of build off of what Lewis has established here. And I think that's a positive.
Yeah. I mean, of course it's a positive. But I guess the question is it just for show? And a lot of Bengals fans were suspicious of that. But it seems the betting guys are sure that it's just for show, or that the Bengals will be, I guess, they will be fooled by Hugh's charm, if you will, because very charming guy.
But like I'm not the biggest buyer into what Jeff Hobson of Bengals.com usually says in the offseason, but he did proclaim that if the Bengals were to make an in-house hire, it would have already happened by now because they already vetted Jackson, Simmons, Laser, and even Vance Joseph. Now, if they did have a contingency plan for moving on to Lewis with one of those guys, probably would have happened by now. And I think just out of the nature of who they've looked at beyond those guys, I think that their interest is looking to somewhere else. And I don't know, out of the handful of guys that they're going to interview over this weekend, who it is going to be.
Well, John,
I think it's a good chance that it's one of those guys.
Great point. And you raise something that I want to talk about, and that is the interview process. So tell us a little bit about how it works. So so they interview these guys. So they interview these guys. Okay. No. And then
you basically chase around Mike Brown's golf cart, and he's like just basically throwing out questions and stuff like that, and you got to keep up with the golf cart.
I'm talking about in general, in the NFL in general, right? So you interview people, right? And then you interview more people, and you don't make a decision on the first people. And so I want to know two things. What does that say about the process, who you interview first, and also for the candidate, who he interviews with last? Does that mean he's most interested or least interested?
I think for their sake in their specific scenario, the Bengals felt they owed it to guys like Simmons and I guess Hugh Jackson, who's had multiple stints with the team, that they get those interviews out first, that they have the quote-unquote privilege to first be interviewed, to have that first chance to make an impression, whether or not that they were, likely candidates to actually get the job. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. I think that was a professional courtesy from Mike Brown to give those guys the opportunity because, it kind of speaks to the organization that you are, that if you, I guess, develop coaches in your organization for a long period of time and that head coaching vacancy finally opens up, then you give those guys the opportunity to go first and kind of put the resume on the table first, so they're always in the back of Mike Brown's mind. Now, again, whether or not that they were the prime candidates for this head coaching search, remains to be seen until they hire the guy and we get the info out of that later. But I think that the order of the search was more of a professional courtesy than an indication of going from top candidates to lesser candidates, because they're still requesting interviews now. They got a couple more coming up and on tomorrow, and then the day after that Todd Monken.
So John, so who is flying out to Los Angeles to interview the Rams guys?
That is Mike Brown. I'm assuming the Blackburns, Katie and Troy.
He has a flying golf cart?
No. He's definitely don't get me wrong. He's definitely in the economy class. He's munching down those pretzels and those free waters. You know, he's definitely munching over the beverage cart girl at least 3 times. You got to take advantage of that free water.
I have it on good. I have it on some good source that he only flies Southwest.
Does he?
Because
bags fly free. First of all,
bags fly free.
No doubt, just to carry on. No doubt.
I took the Mike Brown is cheap off of my Twitter handle. Just because he's going to read my letter, and if you haven't seen, I wrote a letter.
You might have to block your account for the next couple of days, actually.
We both wrote the letter.
Yeah, but the thing is, look, is he going to pay money for internet connection at home? No. And is he going to have a smartphone so that he can use internet when he's at Paul Brown Stadium for free? No. So he's never going to see
I remember Bill Belichick talking about social media and calling it face Twitter and Bookgram. I want to see Mike Brown try to label off social media sites.
Bill Belichick knew what he was doing. Come on. But anyways,
he's in economy class. He went all the way over to Los Angeles with Duke.
So Mike Brown. Who else did you say?
Duke Tobin, the Blackburns. His daughter Katie, and maybe one or two other executives. They interviewed both Zach Taylor and Sean Waldron in the Rams facility today.
So the only football guy is Duke.
Yeah, as far as we know.
Yeah. So I guess Mike considers himself a football guy. But
so here's the thing. Okay, I'm a psychology buff. I'm a self-help guy. I like psychology, and I guess what I'm wondering, is what was the psychological process that got Marvin hired? Not to criticize it, no, but to say whatever that process was. I think it's likely we can say that that's the same process that's going to happen in this next week or so. And we can predict who's going to be chosen. What do you think, John?
That's kind of interesting because from what I remember, Lewis's resume as a defensive coordinator and just as a longtime coach in the NFL spoke for itself. He was, I think, 45 when he was hired, so he brought youthful vigor and energy, but he also brought competency that a guy like Dave Scholl didn't. As far as just overall persona, personality, charisma, all that kind of stuff, and towards the intangibles that you were referencing, I think that kind of speaks to more of the inexperienced candidates that we're looking at with Bieniemy, who's not have a lot of experience calling plays. Zach Taylor is just a quarterback's coach. Sean Waldron is the passing game coordinator. I think there's more of an uncertainty in these kinds of candidates that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but John, but a lot of people say Marvin Lewis is the hottest candidate. Let's remember he was hired as Bucs coach, and then that fell apart, and then he became Washington's defensive coordinator, and then he was back on the market. So not exactly when he was at his hottest.
When did he go to Tampa Bay?
He was hired by them, and it fell through for some reason.
Did it really?
And then he went back to being defensive coordinator, and then Bengals got him. So not.
Wait, did they hire him as the head coach? After he left from Baltimore?
Yeah, I think so. You want to look it up? Maybe, I don't know, but
no, because I know he went from Baltimore to Washington, but that's really all I know.
Yeah. But in between, he was hired as the head coach, and so what I'm saying is he didn't become a great candidate because of his performance in Washington, which was solid.
No, he spent 1 year there, right?
Yeah, but he became a great candidate because of his performance with the Ravens,
right?
Okay. And that's what I'm saying. And so by the next year, he wasn't as hot. So whatever it was, teams shied away from him for a year. And then the Bengals got him. And people might take this the wrong way. But the Rooney Rule is probably the reason why Mike Brown even considered it. And then he said, okay, no, I like this guy. I can work with this guy. In other words, I don't think they put as much thought and innovation. They weren't as forward thinking in the process as they are this time. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe. And there are younger people involved, okay? But my question is, they did have to pick Marvin over other people. So what?
Yeah, but I think a big part was the personality thing. Not that he was young and this and that. I think it was that they saw his personality fit their personalities.
And what is that? Friendly? Midwestern?
No, not just friendly. Kind of all the schools.
Loves to punt?
Yeah, they value the same kind of football,
Is that going to happen again?
And Marvin's, ability to develop rapport with players and other coaches and NFL people. I think that's the
problem.
I mean, like the Brown.
That's why I want Jim Harbaugh. Because
Well, okay, hold on. John, hold on. I want to go through these candidates, and because look, Sean McVay was an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Okay. De Filippo was quarterback coach, hottest you can get, and wasn't hired as head coach. Okay. My point is, I like this idea of taking these Sean McVay, these hot guys, three, okay, but what does it mean to be a head coach is what I'm saying. So look, they say people don't want Bieniemy, or they don't know if he's going to be good because he didn't call plays. Well, you don't want your head coach calling plays. Okay. And then you have these position guys, you have Zach Taylor, quarterback, Shane Waldron, tight ends, whatever. And they're like, oh, these guys are great because they work with Sean McVay. They could be. The good thing about them is they will hire, coordinators who think like that, right? Who are aware of the things they're aware of. That's the biggest plus. But how do we know they can coach? You see what I'm saying? Like
I see exactly what you're saying.
So how do you evaluate? How do you compare Zach Taylor with Bieniemy? Bieniemy, I think, is more qualified because he's been at least offensive coordinator at other level, at college and whatnot.
Well, Bieniemy is from the more proven tree. Like the Andy Reid tree is like basically an extension of the Bill Walsh tree, which is like almost half of the NFL coaches nowadays. And Matt Nagy, who is the offensive coordinator before Bieniemy, he's had success in Chicago now. Doug Peterson was under Andy Reid. He's had success in Philadelphia as a Super Bowl. John Harbaugh was the special teams coordinator under Andy Reid in Philadelphia. He won a Super Bowl in Baltimore. The Andy Reid tree is very successful, and people want to think that Bieniemy is the next extension of that tree. But as far as finding the next McVay, and if you believe that a guy like Waldron or Taylor fell in line with that just because they work for the Rams, the thing that made McVay so special, not only was he a moderately successful offensive coordinator with the Washington Redskins, the dude's football IQ and just overall acumen and the way that he addresses the game is so rare. It's not even Belichick. Like it's almost like it's his own breed. Like he is a millennial like me. He thinks he's a pretty forward thinker, and he very much. Hodgie, listen, hear me out. He just exudes modern football knowledge and acumen, and just this overall way of thinking that is just not common in the NFL. And that in itself made him just a special person, not only from his experience, from just from the way that he coaches and the way that he can lead men, even though he's only 31, 32 years old. And that just what made him a rare candidate in itself, beyond just an experience. And from the outside, we don't know if, just guys like us, we don't know if Taylor and Waldron are those kinds of minds. But the way that McVay talks about them and vouches for them, and I guess because the NFL has interest in both of those guys, they must see similar things in them that they saw from McVay, and they want to get a little bit of that magic. So if they are, similar minds to McVay because they spent time with him and kind of think like him now, that is the advantage of getting those guys, even though they don't have the necessary prerequisites and experience that McVay had.
All right. Question. Is there a Sam White tree?
Not that I know of.
Why did the man leave no fruit?
Well, Hodgie, I appreciate your love for Sam White.
Do you?
But I think I do. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Look, those were good times. Look, John, you got to understand. Those were when me and Hodgie fell in love with it. Well, Hodgie fell in love with before. Yeah, it was a little before. But anyways, those were good times. Those were the last good times. That's the biggest thing. But look, if we do find the right guy from the Sean McVay coaching tree, that's good. And like you said, the Andy Reid one's been good. And, someone pointed out that article, I forget the name of the guy, Perez, and he pointed out that the previous guys that, called plays, Nagy and Peterson, it was because the team was struggling. So like Andy Reid preferred not calling plays, and because they're doing so good now, they didn't need Bieniemy to, call plays, something like that. So, and then also I pointed out in the article, it says that, he helps the quarterbacks prepare and read protections and whatnot, and he initiates the game plan. Like he will suggest things to be installed into the game plan. Those are pretty big deals. So Bieniemy, I feel
right. And Taylor does the same things with McVay too, which I feel like we have to mention. Yeah.
Okay. So Taylor's like 35.
Mm-hmm.
Bieniemy's 49, but working with Andy Reid, it's like he's 28 or something. So you know what I mean? The way he's I read a Sports Illustrated article when I was in the bathroom. I know you guys don't get the Sports Illustrated, but I get it for free to my house, so I read it.
And they deliver straight to your bathroom?
That's extras. But look,
Amazon's reaching new heights.
Well, yeah.
You'd have to pay me a pretty penny to enter Dadio's bathroom.
No, just slide some to the door.
Oh,
thanks, Tommy.
Yeah. Well, I'm lucky if our mailman even, drops it off anywhere near my home. He's so lazy. He's close to retirement, poor guy. Anyways, look, probably upset I never gave him a Christmas bonus. But anyways, so look, the Sports Illustrated article was talking about Andy Reid's approach. And John, maybe you know this, but I didn't know this. Basically, he takes any play he's ever encountered, or that basically any play that he's ever liked at any level, and he just accumulates these and adds them up, and these become his identity, which is pretty cool. He doesn't.
It's kind of pretty much like how everybody plays John Madden football on PlayStation.
Really, I pick like 2 plays and I stick with them. But
I play more strategically, like Sam White. But I'm wondering, so more about the trees. So where's the Bill Parcells tree in all this?
Well, Belichick is part of the Bill
Parcells. Yeah.
So why don't we just go down that tree? The Bill Parcells.
There's Josh McDaniels, I guess.
But he said no.
Well, yeah, he's not gonna. So I mean, you got to think about Josh McDaniels.
That fruit is too expensive for us, I guess. The Josh McDaniels. I'm glad that guy said no. That guy was a train wreck.
Well, yeah, he has a lot of attitude.
He's got attitude. You can't come in on my Bengals with attitude and be like, oh, I don't like that, man. I want to.
What? Who finished the sentence?
I mean, he just had attitude. What he did with the Colts, that was attitude. They had luck. We have Dalton.
No, that's true. You know what's interesting? The Colts, I don't think anybody saw, maybe John did, them going from the worst offensive line to the best offensive line almost. Not best, but I mean, and I just saw Andrew Luck was sacked 18 times the whole year. That's amazing.
That is amazing.
The last time he played or whatever, he had spleen, was removed or whatever. He had body parts flying out. Do you remember that, John?
Oh yeah, I'll take the fault for because on this show I advocated for John DeFilippo becoming a head coach and offensive coordinator for the Bengals, but it turns out that Frank Reich was actually the mastermind behind that Eagles Super Bowl team, and I won't admit that DeFilippo was that much of a failure as the Vikings offensive coordinator because that offensive line was a train wreck. But the Colts finally got healthy along the offensive line with their left tackle and center. Drafting an all-pro left guard at 6th overall probably did something too. And they drafted a right tackle in the 2nd round that also ended up being pretty damn good too. So that whole offensive line, yeah. It was so funny to me. People are like, oh, is Andrew Luck ever going to play? Oh, is he any good? Who would go there if they don't know? He couldn't grip a football until August, which is just incredible.
He's Andrew Luck, man.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. Why would
Josh
McDaniels want to come coach Andy Dalton if he didn't want to coach Andrew Luck?
Yeah. Well, I think he was. I don't know. I think they say he was told that he get the Patriots job. But
however long that may be, and however many years after Tom Brady retired.
Yeah, I don't know why Brady would keep playing. Look, if the Gronky retires, because Brady without the Gronky is not that good of a quarterback.
He's okay. He's all right.
It's all right. Yeah.
Very surprising coming from you, Dadio.
So he's good. No, he's not as good.
But you guys share the same taste in headwear, so it was just shocking to me.
Yeah.
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 Well,
so why is everybody so psyched about Bieniemy? I don't get it.
I don't want him. But look at that offense, Hodgie.
I don't want him.
They're 50 touchdown.
He's a Bengal. He was with the Bengals as a running back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So now Hodgie not so smart. Let's say fine, but how is it the case that if he was a running back, he knows so much about the quarterback?
Well, I told you this. Okay, first of all, a lot of coaches didn't even play football.
I don't want them. I don't want to get him out of there. I don't want to get him
that article talk about how he's just an offensive guy. He's famous for his offense, so he helps the quarterbacks with their preparation. He understands. First of all, the running backs.
Marvin Lewis was a linebacker.
They understand pass protection. And by the way, Bieniemy, John, if you look, I don't know if you remember. Well, you don't remember, but if you heard, Bieniemy back in the day was one of those, two-way backs, running and receiving, which wasn't like all the running backs. But he was very much that. So he wasn't just what? I'm sorry?
No, we'll say.
Yeah. So the point is he understands pass a little bit more than maybe some running backs from that generation.
So I understand that. Pretend I'm coming out of a cave and I know nothing about
it. Yeah, the beard signals that, yes.
Okay. No, pretend like I haven't been around, okay? Like I've just been, let's say, trying to make some returns at Crocs all day. And I'm not going to get into that.
That sounds more like me, yeah.
Well, because what happened. It's that I'm trying to go all vegan with my shoes, and I wear Birkenstocks. I don't want to get into it. But John, I want you to explain one thing to me, okay? Are we interviewing Jim Harbaugh?
No.
Why?
Why would we?
Yeah, John, this one thing. So someone said, Jim Harbaugh, his scheme is 10 years out of date.
No. Don't answer my question with a question, John. Why not?
Well, what do you want to see from the Bengals in 2019?
Jim Harbaugh.
What do you want to see?
Wait, did you say that at the same time, Dadio?
I would accept Jim Harbaugh coming to the Bengals if he brought Kaepernick. I'll say that because if we're gonna go down that road, I want to join the whole band back together.
Mike Brown loves Kaepernick.
As the whole.
And by the way, Kaepernick said he would stand the last time he was a free agent.
Okay, all right, we're past that. But
you realize, Dadio, that Cincinnati is way too racist of a place for Colin Kaepernick. No offense, present party, like all of you people who are watching the show are not racist or whatever, but I've been through a lot of crap. I'm telling you, man, it is not a place that's going to like the Kaepernick image and the social justice thing. Maybe the millennials.
This country has been very good to both of us, Hodgie.
I am not kidding. I am speaking fact. I'm a satirical guy, but I remember in the 90s, the KKK had the Christmas pageant in downtown Cincinnati.
And I am not kidding when I say that Mike Brown would be hard. It would be hard for Mike Brown to sell hiring a head coach who was 0-4 against Ohio State in the last 4 years.
John, hold on a second. Hold on. John, let me ask you something. If Bill Belichick is bad at playing Madden, are you going to hold that? Are you going to say he's not a good NFL coach? No. Like, how do you compare? It's like college. Yeah, it's technically football, but come on.
It's not the same thing.
John, hold on.
No one can beat OSU because listen, there's too much dirty crap. No offense, John, in college football. It's not the same as the NFL.
The guys weigh like 100 pounds.
So you would have confidence that he would come into the Bengals and immediately start beating the Steelers.
John, hold on. John, hold on. Let's just talk facts.
You know why? Because he's the kind of guy who, if we lost against the Steelers, it would be a tongue lashing. He'd come into that. He's the kind of coach, and this is the kind of coach I want. He kicks the garbage can, not a word. Then everybody's like, oh my God, what's wrong with coach? And then he throws the garbage can, and you're like, oh my gosh. And then he just yells and screams. That's what I want. I want
John, hold on.
I don't like how he was treated in San Francisco, but he has done nothing since he got to Michigan but underachieved.
Okay, John, that's Michigan, that's college. Some guys are good college coaches, some guys are good NFL coaches.
Exactly.
Listen, John. Okay, listen. So
like the Seahawks.
He was in the NFC Championship game 4 years ago. Super Bowl 5 years ago. Super Bowl 6 years ago. Another NFC Championship game 7 years ago. Yeah. The point is, look at the 49ers before he got there. Garbage. Worse than the Bengals.
And after he left, garbage.
And they had all the messy ownership. Like, it's a really bad situation. And the point is, he has the guts. He has the drive. He has the respect.
The fire.
To uplift a struggling franchise and take them deep into the playoffs. Nobody... Look at Alex Smith, who was considered a bust for the longest time. And then he's in the NFC Championship game. You know? And then look at the courage in benching that guy after his best game ever or something. He was super efficient that one with the Monday night game. He got injured. Then he's like, I like this Kaepernick guy. I think he gives us better chance. And he goes with him. I mean, who would do that?
It's almost 1 a.m. I got to go. Okay. I'm going to say one last thing. What really convinced me that we needed Kaepernick was when Logie sent a tweet of this interview that he had with Cowherd. And Cowherd was like, asking these questions. And Harbaugh was just giving him one-word answers. He wasn't really playing along. And then Cowherd says, hey, imagine I'm one of your players. Why should I be excited you're coming to my team? He says, I'm going to imagine you're one of my players. He just kind of didn't answer the question. He was such a jerk. And the interview ended early, and I said, yes. I want you for my team. That's what we haven't had. We haven't had the big jerk on our team. We haven't had the Tomlin. We haven't had the Belichick.
If you want a big jerk, you might as well just get Brian Kelly, who at least has a Cincinnati connection. That's a big jerk.
I'll take him.
They both stink. They're both garbage. Let's leave them in 2018.
All right. I don't feel like I don't know.
Throw them in the trash with your Crocs.
I couldn't. I'm still keeping the Crocs. I wrote a letter.
Don't keep the Crocs, man. This is not 2009.
They're too big. I have big feet, but it turns out that Crocs has even bigger feet. So
what color are the Crocs?
They're gray and black.
Ugh.
That's my favorite color for shoes because it makes me feel like my feet are smaller, like ballerina feet. Because I have huge feet, John, and I don't know what to do. And then these shoes make my feet look bigger, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm like, why are your feet so big, It's embarrassing. It reminds me of when my mother used to make fun of me when I was a child for having such big, smelly feet. So I go and I tell the person at Crocs, I'm like, these are too big. Can I take them back? They're like, well, you bought them with PayPal. I'm like, so what? They're like, you can't take them back. Anyways, this is not football related.
Well, speaking of PayPal, I just want to give a shout out to John Harden, who he is a patron of ours. He is one of the only patrons we have.
Thank you, John. Show's going to get better and better, I promise, man.
Yeah. And so, John, are you using the lights today?
I am.
Yeah. So if you see John, you see how
he's glowing, man.
He's glowing. Yeah. See that
Turn
glow?
off the lights and he'll glow.
That is not a Star Wars.
He walks the jump like a candle, rolling in his 5.0 with his rack top down so his hair can blow. I don't remember the rest.
Yeah. But John
is Vanilla Ice to me.
Yeah. If you're wondering what John is holding, it is not a Star Wars prop, but rather it is to make his face even more luminous. And
it kind of does remind me of the young Obi-Wan Kenobi played by Ewan McGregor.
Yes.
Do you have a Padawan braid, John?
I do not. It actually got cut off for news.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I can see it, though. You're right.
You can, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're comparing Obi-Wan and not hating Christensen, right?
Yes.
No.
Right.
Okay. Oh, I can't tell the difference between them.
Okay. All right. We're good.
But here's the thing. So
I've been told I look like John Stamos.
Yeah, he has thick eyebrows, I think.
Yeah.
You see it?
Yeah, but
if I turn like this.
Yeah, that's true. He has slightly more hair. Slightly.
I mean, he's got Hollywood money. He can have the
That's true. It's all fake. It's all fake. Yeah. But you both play guitar. So look.
I put Rogaine all over this bad boy. And honestly, it's not really helping. What I did grow more belly hair with the Rogaine. And then I tried this drug. It's called finasteride. And boy, you do not want to try that drug.
You're really making the show personal, which is fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's my show.
Oh, by the way, first of all, I want to finish thanking John Harden. So we got the glow stick for John. We're going to probably get one for me and Hodgie. I'm just using this cheap lamp I got. It was from somebody's, from like a garage sale or whatever. I don't remember where I got it.
I thought that day we were not supposed to use cuss words on the show now that there are puppets. That's what Logie said, because kids are watching, even though it's 1 a.m.
I didn't use what
you said glow stick.
Glow stick. I'm not familiar with that one.
It's a millennial thing. You wouldn't get it.
Oh, yeah, I don't get it. Anyways, so we're going to get more of those round glowing things. And, other props to make. Look, my house, you can see, is not I got to work on the upholstery a little bit. It's not the most Bengalsy thing, so maybe improve that a little. So thank you, John, again, and anybody else who wants to be a patron, it's okay. I mean, we can have more than one according to the rules. We can have a lot.
We would prefer more than one, actually.
That's fine. Yeah, it'd be great. Now, if you like the show and you want us to cover the NFL playoffs, because who knows when the Bengals will ever do anything there. So we can talk about other teams and then
we really should. Maybe. We really should. It's going to be...
Okay, well, leave comments. If you want us to talk about NFL playoffs, leave comments. And we will try to do that.
We should do a playoff dissection, I think.
Yeah, dissection, yes. Anybody with any final comments before we stop the broadcast?
Is anybody watching at 1 a.m. on a Friday night?
There are 19 people watching. 19.
Come on, guys. Go do something with your life.
Go to bed. Jesus.
Go to the mall.
Oh, someone says...
your Crocs.
Oh, so some things. Oh, wow. Okay, so some comments here. Hire Tomlin. No, we don't want Mike Tomlin. I don't think a guy like Mike Tomlin...
I would take
Joey Porter's available.
I want Tomlin.
No, I don't think Tomlin would work in Cincinnati. I don't think he'd be successful.
Let's be perfect. Let's hire Mike Munchak and Joey Porter.
No, and I think Marvin Lewis could go to the Steelers, by the way. Dylan Parrish is telling me
is he gonna replace Porter as like the linebackers coach and just start from square one?
Someone says Zimmer. John, is Zimmer going to be is there still a chance?
I think if he was going to be fired, he already would have been.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think he get another chance.
I don't. Zimmer's he's good, but he's not what we want. He's not good.
Yeah. Trade for Antonio Brown. We don't need Antonio Brown, and Antonio Brown again wouldn't work with our quarterback.
No. He runs unpredictable routes, and that doesn't work with our team.
That's what I'm saying. He does a lot for the improvisation. He works well as
an improviser.
Yeah, but it's nice to see the Steelers imploding, because the thing about the Steelers is they're not going to bounce back from this very fast. No. In my opinion, you know why? Is because they're sticking behind Roethlisberger, and he's getting really old and really bad.
Roethlisberger is like a Band-Aid beneath which is a festering pus of crap. And when they take that Band-Aid off, they're going to see how he has ruined.
But he is the festering pus, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's the festering pus and the Band-Aid. I mean,
I see. The rest of the team, yeah. Anyways, so but the thing is, so you lose him when he's bad. They can't. You don't find great coaches that easily, or coaches that work that easily. They're going to have to probably replace Tomlin after they go some losing records. So they could struggle, which would be nice. Anyways, we should probably end the show.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Before I say something really irresponsible.
Yes.
Yeah, I've already. It's when it's late at night, Hodgie loses his sense of decorum.
Yes.
So, I apologize to all the young viewers, the millennials who are sensitive and stuff. I'm sorry I said all the negative stuff.
We are losing so many millennials just from this show. We've lost so many millennials just from this one show. But yeah. Okay. That is all. We will see you next time. Sweetie. Bye.